Streetlight halo on a dusty hood, engine ticking softer than my heartbeat could. Cheap fairy lights taped along the wall, thin foam mattress way too small, sleeping bags smell like summer camp rain. But this time no one knows my name. The city glow bleeding through the tinted glass, trucks side by me as the hours pass. Is this freedom or a beautiful mistake? Lying awake while the flyover shakes. First night in the van on the edge of town, half scared to sleep, half scared to turn around. Ceiling inches from my restless eyes, listening to my own breath for the first time. Keys on a lanyard by the sliding door, boots in the corner on the plywood floor. Phone face down, no buzzing blue, no one to answer, nothing to prove. I count the rivets in the metal frame, whisper a road trip to my own name. If morning finds me still wanting to stay, maybe this is how I drive away. First night in the van on the edge of town, half scared to sleep, half scared to turn around. Ceiling inches from my restless eyes, listening to my own breath for the first time. Trade the sirens for a highway hum, the broken intercom for a beating drum. Every doubt curls up at my feet like a stray dog learning how to sleep. First night in the van on the edge of town. If I can't rest here, I won't back down. Four thin walls and a borrowed sky might be the place I finally come alive. Streetlight fades as the sunrise creeps. I'm still afraid, but I'm the one who keeps the keys. Rearview mirror holds a shrinking crown, skyline melting as the sun goes down. Lines of concrete fading in the haze, radio low, I let the engines phase. Billboards blinking their exit to my old address. Leave my name in their database mess. Every mile marker feels like a run on a ladder out of the city's tongue. I'm miles from their voices now, just the wheels and the wind somehow. No more small talking, fluorescent rooms, only open road and a rising moon. Ooh. Coffee cooling in the cup holder and fingers drumming to the song I sing. Office jokes echo, but they fade fast like a cheap ringtone from a buried past. The further I drive from the downtown glow, the louder my own thoughts start to grow. Silence on the shoulder, stars overhead. I follow the lines like a lifeline thread. I'm miles from their voices now, just the wheels and the wind somehow. No more small talking, fluorescent rooms, only open road and a rising moon. Oh, let the towers talk to the cloudy sky. Let the train lines rattle their lullaby. I've got a rusted van and a stubborn heart and 1,000 new miles where I can restart. I'm miles from their voices now, just the wheels and the wind somehow. If I ever turn back, may the road remind I found my voice when I left them behind. Oh, chase my own echo into the night. Oh, raindrops on the roof, like 1,000 small hands. Fog on the windows, blurring out the land. Parked on the edge of some forgotten field, wipers at rest, all my armor unsealed. Kettle on the burner, slow rising steam, pages in my notebook, catching this dream. Jacket on a hook, boots by the door, outside the storm, inside the floor. Every drop above me says I made it here, far from their chorus, far from their fear. Rain outside, space inside, tiny van, but my chest feels wide. They stack their lives up floor by floor. I found my peace behind a sliding door. Tea stains circling the enamel cup, a little stove flame trying to stand up. Playlist humming at a whisper low, while the wind gives the canvas a gentle blow. No buzzing phone, no vibrating lights, just storm clouds folding into the skies. If this is small, I don't want tall. I'd rather hear the raindrops than their crowded hall. Rain outside, space inside, tiny van, but my chest feels wide. They stack their lives up floor by floor. I found my peace behind a sliding door. Let the city lights drown in their own reflection. I'll take puddles and mud over cold perfection. This metal shell sings sweeter than their glass. Every drop a hymn that says you're free at last. Rain outside, space inside, tiny van, but my chest feels wide. If the storm goes on till the break of day, I'll still be here and I'll be okay. Raindrops on the roof slowly fade to mist. I fall asleep in a life I almost missed.
Morning through the curtain, dust in the beam. No alarm ringing, just the tail end of a dream. I fry one egg in a dented pan, coffee in the mug with a chipped old hand. Talk to the kettle like an old best friend, laugh at my jokes with no one to defend. Check my phone and there's nothing new, just yesterday's ghost and a missed call or two. Silence used to scare me like an empty room. Now it's just a canvas I can slowly fill with truth. I'm learning to be alone on this narrow bed I call my home. No crowded train, no ringing phone, just open sky and skin and bone. It's a little strange, but I can feel it grow. It's quiet kind of courage I didn't know. I drive all day with the windows down, sing off key to the radio sound, tell the dashboard how my life went wrong. Somehow the steering wheel forgives in song. Pull into a lay-by when the daylight dies, boil up noodles under violet skies. The empty passenger seat doesn't feel so cruel. It's where my old selves sit when they need a new rule. I'm learning to be alone on this narrow bed I call my home. No crowded train, no ringing phone, just open sky and skin and bone. It's a little strange, but I can feel it grow. This quiet kind of courage I didn't know. They told me you'll be lonely like it's some disease, but I found out my heart just needed room to breathe. The worst of the echoes came from walls too tight, now they fade with every mile of night. I'm learning to be alone, and it feels less like loss, more like coming home. No crowded train, no ringing phone, just open sky and skin and bone. If I ever fall, I'll fall on this road, in the arms of a life that finally feels my own. the curtain, gulls on the air. I pour 2 cups of coffee, leave 1 empty chair. Apartment keys on a nail in the dash. Little metal ghosts of a life gone past. I used to count floors on the way to my door. Same gray hallway, worn out floor. Neighbors stacked like books on a shelf, everyone too busy to read themselves. Now my ceiling is a patchwork sky. Clouds roll past where the lights were high. I traded my corners for corners of maps. Traded my ceiling for mountain caps. I chose wheels instead of walls, open fields instead of shopping malls. Let them build their towers tall, I'll be chasing sunsets while they crawl. 4 good tires and a heart that stalls, then starts again on empty roads that call. No buzzing intercom, no broken lift, just gravel crunching in every drift. No angry landlord knocking at the door, only wind rehearsing on the shore. My rent is fuel and a bag of rice, paid in views that you can't price. They measure their worth by the size of their floor, I measure mine by the miles I explore. I chose wheels instead of walls, open fields instead of shopping malls. Let them build their towers tall, I'll be chasing sunsets while they crawl. 4 good tires and a heart that stalls, then starts again on empty roads that call. Maybe they're right and I'm just running wild, but I've never felt this safe since I was a child. With the engine humming like a low soft choir, and the night air dancing on a copper wire. I chose wheels instead of walls, open fields instead of shopping malls. If I ever miss those neon halls, I'll park beneath the stars and let the feeling fall. Apartment keys on a nail in the dash. They don't open doors, but they still remind me who I was. Signal bars fade into a single line, but the stars above are finally online. No more emails buzzing in my hand, just the crackle of a cheap FM band. Calendar empty, but my days are full, with a mountain view and a quiet pool. I learned the constellations by the van door light, trade Netflix nights for the Milky Way bright. They say success is a skyline view, but that city horizon almost swallowed me too. I'm happier off the grid, where the wild things live and the power lines quick, counting sunrises instead of missed calls, hanging my heart on waterfalls. They can have their towers in their downtown script. I found my smile when the signal slipped. Water from a jerry can stove on the ground, dinner in a saucepan, no one around. I wash my worries in a freezing stream, dry my doubts in the campfire steam. They're fighting traffic in a 4-lane crawl, I'm chasing shadows of an eagle's fall. The quiet here is loud in a different way, it tells me softly you're allowed to stay. I'm happier off the grid, where the wild things live and the power lines quick, counting sunrises instead of missed calls, hanging my heart on waterfalls. They can have their towers in their downtown script. I found my smile when the signal slipped. Maybe I'll drive back in someday, who knows? But I Once you heard the river write your name in stone, you can't go back to feeling alone in a crowd of phones. I'm happier off the grid, where the wild things live and the power lines quit. If they ask me what I finally did, I just point to the sky and say I moved in. Signal bar's gone, but my heart's well lit. Lost on a map, but I'm done with it. Kettle on the burner, sea below the rim. Morning paints the coastline soft and dim. Mug in my hands on a folding chair. Salt on my lips, wind in my hair. Waves write stories on the rocks below. Erase them gently when they overflow. My van behind me like a loyal dog. Windows fogged from the coffee fog. I used to drink and rush and run. Now I sip slow with the sleeping sun. Coffee on the cliff at the edge of the day. Nothing on my calendar to pull me away. I traded crowded mornings for this quiet view, and I'd do it all again if I only knew. Birds draw letters in the open sky. Gulls and swallows spelling out goodbye. Goodbye to the commute, to the metal train, to the same 4 stops in my weathered brain. Here every sip tastes a little like grace. Steam curls up like a gentle embrace when the world feels small in my chip white cup. I know I finally let my real life catch up. But coffee on the cliff at the edge of the day. Nothing on my calendar to pull me away. I traded crowded mornings for this quiet view, and I do it all again if I only knew. Some say I'm wasting time staring at the sea, but time was wasting me where I used to be. If you never watched the sunrise melt the night, don't know how cheap we sold our life. Coffee on the cliff at the edge of the day. Let the city clocks all tick away. I'll sit right here till the last drops through in this tiny moment that feels brand new. Kettle cooling, waves still strong. For the first time in years, I'm exactly where I belong. Headlights on the dashboard, notebook on my knee. Night road stretching like a black slow sea. Dear old co-worker on the 13th floor. You asked me once what I was leaving for. I didn't have the words back then to say, just mumbled something about needing to change someday. Now I watch the stars through a bug-stained glass and write you a letter that I'll never pass. These words are postcards to a different time, stamped with the life I left behind. These are letters I'll never send, to the city, to the job, to a long-lost friend. Spoken to the steering wheel at 2 a.m., letting go of who I might have been. Every mile I drive helps the ink run thin, till I'm lighter than the skin on it. Dear crowded subway where I used to stand, earbuds in, briefcase in hand. You taught me how to disappear in a crowd, how to sing in my head when the world was too loud. Now my chorus is the tires on the gravel bends, my audience the trees and the distant fence. If you hear this song in the tunnel hum, know I finally found where I'm from. These are letters I'll never send, to the city, to the job, to a long-lost friend. Spoken to the steering wheel at 2 a.m., letting go of who I might have been. Every mile I drive helps the ink run thin, till I'm lighter than the skin I'm in. Dear younger version of the man I am, who thought home was a mortgage and a pension plan. I'm sorry it took so long to understand that home can be 4 wheels and an open hand. I hope you forgive me for the years we lost. I'm paying us back in sunsets, no matter the cost. These are letters I'll never send, but I sing them to the night and it listens like a friend. If the city ever wonders where I went, tell it I'm somewhere the noise is finally spent. Headlights fading as the road curves round. I close the notebook, let the answers drown.
Three rusty vans in a crooked ring, fire in the middle, sparks taking wing. Met them by a lake at the end of the road, dust on their bumpers, different area codes. One built his home from a busted mail truck, she sold a sofa just to try her luck. We passed the chips and the bottle around, tell our beds, break down stories till the stars come down. No suits, no titles, no one in command, just dirt on our boots and maps in our hands. This is my campfire parliament, where all the broken hearts got up and went. We vote with mouths, we swear by scars, we pass the truth like a used guitar in the glow of the twisted our minds. Someone plays a song in a borrowed key. We all sing wrong, but we all sing free. If this is madness, then let it be. I've never felt so sane in company. This is my campfire parliament, where all the broken hearts got up and went. We vote with miles, we swear by scars. We pass the truth like a used guitar. In the glow of the embers I finally see there's a whole little world that lives like me. Oh, no agenda but the rising sun. Oh, no deadline but the day we're done. We raise our mugs to the nights we choose, to the ones who stayed and the ones who cruise. This is my campfire parliament. No concrete walls, no cold cement. If the city asks who took my time, tell it I spent it where the stars still shine. Rusty vans in a crooked ring. I found my people by following a string. White breath hanging in the freezing air. Frost on the windshield, crystals everywhere. Woke up to a world in quiet disguise. Thin ice, flowers on the window's eyes. Battery low and the kettle slow. Winter came to see how far I'll go. Wool socks lay your hands on the flame. Learning all the winters never taught my name. They said this life was only good in June, but I'm still here under a paper moon. Snow on the solar panel, cold wind shaking both my handles, but the small warm circle of my breath and light feels more like home than their neon nights. I'll scrape the sky off my roof again, let the weak sun like an old lost friend. Condensation on the ceiling seam, soup in a pot, heavy winter steam. Engine grumbles when I turn the key. Even it is asking, you still wanna be free? I let into the collar of my patched up coat. Count the days on the back of an envelope. It's harder now, but in the frozen hush, every choice I made feels twice as lush. Snow on the solar panels, cold wind shaking both my handles, but the small warm circle of my breath and light feels more like home than their neon nights. I'll scrape the sky off my roof again, let the weak sun like an old lost friend. They're turning radiators up on the 14th floor. I'm stomping my feet on the plywood floor, but when the stars come clear in the brittle air, I'd still rather freeze than forget I'm here. Snow on the solar panels, winter testing all my channels. If I can love this shivering van then I know I'm living, not just making plans. White breath hanging in the fading light. I tuck myself in and out last night. Two bars showing on a distant ridge, city glow hiding like a broken bridge. I'm parked below a tower in the fading dusk. Phone lights up with the same old rush. Messages pouring like a busted dam. News and ads asking who I am. Old life blinking in a tiny screen, like a ghost town sign I've already seen. For a moment I feel that familiar pull, then I hear the quiet of the valley grow full. There's a signal over the hill, but I stay in the shadows still. Let their voices climb and call. I'm not missing out at all. If they knew how this silence feels, they turn their towers into wheels. Old boss asking how's the trip so far. Old friend sending photos from a crowded bar. I type 3 words and erase them twice. Nothing I can send would really sound right. I just send a picture of the sky tonight, horizon bleeding gold in the quiet light. The more I scroll, the more I understand. I left their noise, but I found my hands. There's a signal over the hill, but I stay in the shadows still. Let their voices climb and call. I'm not missing out at all. If they knew how this silence feels, they turn their towers into wheels. I could drive up, chase the bars to the top, let the old life in like a coffee shop. But every time I almost start the van, the crickets sing and they change my plan. There's a signal over the hill, but my heart is off the grid by will. If they need me, they can wait till dawn. I'm with the stars till the bars are gone. Screen face down on the passenger seat. I climb into bed with the night complete. the bumper stickers on the glass. Every little stop writes another path. Gravel pull off by a river bend, tiny town lot where the street lights end. Forest clearing with a makeshift ring of stones where the last fire used to sing. Every line on the map, every small blue mark teaches me that home is softer than stars. I used to think I needed one fixed place. Now I see it's more of a state of grace. Home is everywhere I park, from city edge to mountain dark. Four small walls and a wandering heart, turning any lonely spot into a star. Doesn't need an address or a mailbox name. If I can rest there, it counts the same. Some nights it's a lay-by near a single tree with truckers humming like a distant sea. Some nights it's a cliff with the moon below, where the world feels small in the engine glow. I hang the same lamp from the same old hook, boil the same water in the same dented cook. It's not the ground, it's how I breathe when I know I'm free to leave. Home is everywhere I park, from city edge to mountain dark. Four small walls and a wandering heart, turning any lonely spot into a star. Doesn't need an address or a mailbox name. If I can rest there, it counts the same. They ask, don't you miss a door with your name? Sometimes I do, but it's not the same. My name looks better written in dust on the back of a van that I chose to trust. Home is everywhere I park, under sunrise blush or starlit arc. If I ever settle, it'll be by choice, not because I silence my only voice. Dust on the bumper stickers on the glass. I drive away knowing I can always come back. City sign rising in the evening haze, familiar skyline from my former days. Just passing through on a longer run, fuel and groceries and a bit of sun. But the GPS draws a crooked line past the old address that used to be mine. Curiosity tugs on the steering wheel, so I let the van go where it wants to feel. Windows up and my mind rolled down to the version of me that once wore this town. I drive slow past my old street, watch my ghost walk on those tired feet. Same gray building, same locked door, but it doesn't own my breath no more. I thought I'd ache or want it back, instead I just feel the weight I lack. laundry flapping on the neighbor's line. Same old taxi at the yellow sign. That cafe corner where I used to hide from the life I built in my own time. I park for a moment by the busted gate, hands on the wheel, letting go of fate. If the window lights up with someone new, I hope they find a different truth. I drive slow past my old street, watch my ghost walk on those tired feet. Same gray building, same locked door, but it doesn't own my breath no more. I thought I'd ache or want it back. Instead I just feel the weight I lack. Dear hallway echoes and elevator sighs. We had our time, but it was built on lies. I used to think leaving meant I'd failed the test, but I just chose a road that fit my chest. I drive slow past my old street, then shifting gear and leave it neat. No angry flame, no bitter song, just a quiet knowing I don't belong. City sign shrinking in the rearview frame. I whisper goodbye without any blame.
Hood propped open on gravel lane, steam like ghosts rising from the stream. So many miles from the last small town, when the heart of the van broke down. Radiator hissing out a tired old hymn, temperature needle on the dashboard rim. Hands on the metal grease on my sleeve, whispering deals I only half believe. If you get me to the next mile sign, I swear I'll treat your rust like mine. This is my engine prayer, spoken to the boats and the evening air. I don't need a steeple or a stained glass view, just a socket wrench and a sky turn blue. If this old van can't keep the spark, I'll keep chasing daylight into the dark. Phone shows nothing but a fading bar, no tow truck coming where the wild things are. I check the hoses and the oil's dark skin, listen for the rattle underneath the din. Every call for the starter, every grinding note feels like a question in the metal throat. I put my faith in weaker things like office chairs and paycheck strings. This is my engine prayer, spoken to the boats and the evening air. I don't need a steeple or a stained glass view, just a socket wrench and a sky turn blue. If this old van can't keep the spark, I'll keep chasing daylight into the dark. Maybe it dies and I'm stranded here with only the
Pistons, hoses, and fading light. If we make it through this broken song, I'll drive you kind, or I'll drive you long. Hood click shut in the afterglow. Key turns slowly and the pistons go.
Form on the counter, pen in my hand. Change of address line I can't quite stand. Post office clerk with a puzzled brow asks, so where are you living now? I smile and gesture with a half-shrugged grin at the end of the road and sometimes in between. Try to explain in a couple of lines the life that slips through their numbered signs. How do you write down a moving sky on a line built for concrete life? I've got no forwarding address, just a van and a heart at rest. If you need to find me, follow the wind. Look for the place where the pavement thins. I don't belong to a single street. My home is wherever my tires meet. They want a number and a tidy name, a box to fit me in all the same. But my walls are steel and my corners bend with every hill and every mend. Letters can wait or get sent back. I'm tired of living on a paper track. I'll keep my roots in a fuel-stained map and trust that the world can handle that. I got no forwarding address, just a van and a heart at rest. If you need to find me, follow the wind. Look for the place where the pavement thins. I don't belong to a single street. My home is wherever my tires meet. Maybe someday I'll write a line for a porch and a tree and a mailbox sign. But if I do, it'll be by choice, not because I silence my roaming voice. Till then, no forwarding address, just a joy I don't have to compress. Let the letters circle and the records guess. I'll be out where the noise is less. Form on the counter, pen set down. I walk back out of the paper town.
Sunset painting on the windshield glass. Last light spilling on the fields I passed. I left the city with a shaking hand. Concrete echoes unfamiliar land. Packed my silence in a second-hand van. Didn't know if I'd outrun or if I ran. Now I know every bend in this rolling hill, every mile has carved itself into my skin. I used to think I was lost out here. Now I see it's the first place I've been clear. This road keeps my name Whispered in the dust and the window rain, from the first scared night on the edge of town to the laughing fires when the sun goes down. I thought I'd vanish when I drove away, but I've never felt more here than I do today. I've seen snow on solar panels thin, engine prayers and strangers' grins, cliffs with coffee forests on the floor, old streets past with an easy no more. Every campsite, every midnight turn is another small way my heart has learned. They keep their stories in bricks and stone, mine are written where the tires have flown. This road keeps my name, whispered in the dust and the window rain, from the packed up boxes in the office glare to a tiny stove in the open air. I thought I'd vanish when I drove away, but I've never felt more here than I do today. If I ever park for good someday, hang my keys and put the maps away. It won't be because the road let go, it'll be because I've learned all I needed to know. Till then this road keeps my name in every town that looks the same, in every dawn that feels brand new, in every view I get to drive back through. You, babe. Till then this road keeps my name in every town that looks the same, in every dawn that feels brand new, in every view I get to drive back through. Sunset fading, engine warm and slow. I am not running anymore, I'm just letting go.